About a month ago, I wanted to get a laptop or some sort of way to do my schoolwork on the go. And while at first I was looking at laptops or possibly tablets to do all my schoolwork on, I realized that my phone, while it is this small, which is also a crazy feat, the Z Fold 7 has all the power I could ever ask for a laptop. So that led me to just buying one of these that I didn't know existed until, like I said, about a month ago. It's a Lapdock. These only work if I plug my phone into it. As good as that sounds, there was a lot of problems. Now, before I talk about that, I do want to talk about the elephant in the room. Like, why don't I just use a tablet per se? Like, this is the Samsung A9 Plus, and while it is very cheap, it could do the job as a portable little laptop if I just got like an attachable keyboard. Trust me, I did think about that, and I did put a lot of consideration to it, but the A9 Plus, while it is their cheapest one, it's very slow. Like, it's very sluggish to do things, and for day-to-day tasks, it's not very good. And then again, like I said, why would I use this when I have a much more powerful device here? So then I thought maybe like if I could prop my phone up somehow with a keyboard right in front of me, could I just use it as that? But then I realized how small this screen is, and I feel like it would get really cumbersome and really annoying pretty quickly. So I scratched that idea. I also had the idea of plugging my phone somehow into my tablet and turning my tablet into an external monitor. And the more I looked into it, the more complicated it got. So if you have a really, I want to say just low quality tablet like I do, you need multiple HDMI adapters, and you need to get some camera app to make it work. And it just got a little confusing. And even all the dongles and everything you needed to carry around to make it work just wasn't up to par for me. So I just scratched that idea as well. Yeah, just to be clear, you can't just plug them in with a Type-C cable and make it work. I tried that. It don't work. Which then also leads into the next thing I could have done. I could have got a mobile display with that's battery powered, and then just got a wireless keyboard and set that up. And while that would have been good, I then would have had to charge the keyboard, the mouse probably, and the monitor, and my phone. That just seems like too many charging and too many batteries I had to think about. Now, before I get into the unboxing, I do need to mention real quick that, yeah, this is actually a direct ripoff of the NextDock Lapdock. I didn't realize it was a copy of that until after I already had it and started using it. It was running about $100 less than the NextDock, and I didn't return it because I feel like doing a review on a fake might have been more interesting than doing the real review on the real product. As for the unboxing, I thought the packaging was pretty well done, even though it was a fake. The fabric they actually used on the packaging, it was this weird, like, I don't really know what to call it, almost like a denim jean-like fabric. And they, like typical most companies nowadays, using styrofoam as their packaging. We don't like that. It came with the Type-C to Type-C, Type-C to Type-A, HDMI to mini HDMI, and another Type-C to Type-C that was braided and actually kind of nice. When I first got the laptop, I actually couldn't figure out how to turn it on, because you push the power button and it didn't really do anything. You have to hold it for like a really long time. As for the ports on it, it did come with a micro SD card slot, a USB, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. And then there was a Type-C port in the other, alongside the mini HDMI down below. After watching some reviews on the NextDock, I actually found out that the software on the Changing Touch is almost identical to the NextDock. It booted up almost instantly, which was super nice. I didn't expect it to just work right away. As for all the F keys at the top of the keyboard, I actually couldn't seem to get them to work. I think the screen on it is actually pretty nice. It was pretty vibrant, and even though it's 1080p, I thought the clarity was pretty good. One thing I did thought was really cool is that you can actually use your mouse on your phone while using the laptop itself. If you wanted to throw over, like, I don't know, another Word document over there for reference while you're doing another piece of work on your main screen, that's pretty cool. Or even a YouTube video on your phone, maybe prop it up. Now, I don't know if you can hear this, but the touchscreen at first, I felt really dumb about this. During testing, I thought there was something wrong with the computer screen, because when you ran your finger on it, it was like really sticky. And I couldn't figure that out, but it turns out that there was a screen protector on it, and I didn't see it. Now, out of all the hardware on here, I'll say the touchpad was definitely the worst. I hated it. It wasn't responsive. Like whenever you move your finger across, it's really sticky, and no, there wasn't a screen protector on this one. And whenever you're using it, it kind of like jittered a lot. I'm not really sure how to explain it without you feeling it yourself, but it was like, it wasn't precise. Like whenever you ran your finger across the mouse pad to go to a tab, like say the exit button, it would always jump past and then kind of jump back forward to where you just were. And it made the whole experience so much more annoying using that trackpad. Now you're probably thinking, why don't you just use a mouse? Well, I did think of that. And my mouse I actually have on my desktop. I tried plugging it into the laptop and I realized there's no other USB ports available on this changing dock laptop. So I got an adapter thinking I could plug it into the power USB on the right side of the laptop, and it didn't work at all basically. That port is just for power, and then the same on the left side, that port is only for plugging in your phone. Like dongles do not work at all. Being those are the only two ports and they're only for those things was a massive deal breaker during my testing. Now I will say on the real one, the changing dock, you do get another USB port for a dongle-ish type of experience. But like I said, don't got that, so yeah. Whenever I found out the USBs didn't work and I couldn't use a dongle on that, I thought about this idea of where I could use the laptop as a second monitor to my main desktop over there. So I figured if that port plugs into my phone and it works, why can't I just plug that directly into my computer and make that into another screen? Well, that didn't work. So this Lapdock is truly only works with your phone. That's its whole thing. Now, if you have Bluetooth devices, that could change things, but that's it. The speaker setup on this was okay. Honestly, I would rather use my phone speakers for this than the speakers that were on board of the Lapdock. It took me a little bit to figure out where the setting was to turn on the speakers, but once I got them on, like, you kind of don't forget after that. So even though I really didn't like how this was going, I still wanted to do some real world testing. So I took it to my friend's house, who was a girl, and I actually made the script for this video while hanging out with her and her cat Pablo. Something else I really wanted to note was that after I came back from work that day, I went back to finish up the script a little bit more and do some adding touches, and the cable actually broke that came with the Lapdock.
That's crazy. Well, I'm glad I turned it off. Oh! Dude. What the fuck?
A few days later, I went on vacation and I actually took the Lapdock with me and I managed to get a lot more experience, I'd say, with it while I was there. One of my biggest issues that I found is you need to have at least a 3.1 Gen 1 cable or a 3.2 Gen 2 cable to get this thing to work. And that goes even for the charging. I tried to use a 5-watt charger and that wasn't even working. In the end, I made a couple of trips to get a couple of different cables. I went to Target, got some, they didn't work. Even though they claimed to be 60-watt charging, they did not work with the laptop at all. As for how bad the trackpad was, I actually did go to Walmart and I tried to just pick up the cheapest mouse I could find. I found a Logitech here, but I'd rather go with the slightly cheaper option since we're going with the off-brand stuff anyway. I found this on Bluetooth wireless mouse and it seemed to work fine for the most part. It got the job done. It's still nowhere near the same level as my desktop mouse from Logitech. This one was goated. It's the G502X. If you're gonna buy something like this, I highly recommend getting a mouse. It's way better. As for the software, I did have some issue with Chrome though. So one of my biggest pet peeves with using Chrome, it is not a desktop web browser on DeX. Why? With my school, I actually need Chrome extensions, and for the most part, you can't use a lot of Chrome extensions on the mobile browser. You have to have a desktop browser to use the Chrome extensions. So while I was there, I actually had to use Lillian's laptop to get some of my schoolwork done because it required a certain extension to get things done. If I'm going to DeX, it should be able to switch from being a mobile to desktop thing. I feel like if they could figure that out, that would be a game changer. Because another issue I had that I'd like to talk about is even with Chrome, how when you do something, say I go to YouTube here, while you're on YouTube, it's pretty much looking like this the majority of the time, like, you know, typical YouTube looking on a phone. And in the corner, you can always tap on it and you can go down and do the desktop site. I already have it on here. You would never guess that this is the desktop version of YouTube on your phone. It pretty much and looks exactly like the mobile version, even though it claims it's the desktop version. And even then, the desktop versions of websites that would go desktop would glitch out and just not really work properly on the Lapdock. And not to mention, if you use desktop mode on your phone, I don't know if you've ever tried it before on Android, but a lot of times the desktop version, all of the text and everything will become very small and hard to read. So you basically have to use mobile version to use your phone. And it doesn't switch back and forth automatically whenever you plug in Dex. It'll stay either on mobile version or desktop version until you go into that setting again and click it on and off. I don't know why it wouldn't just switch automatically. That seems like kind of a no-brainer that, I mean, it should just be a part of this software. So basically, after all that, I did decide to cave in, and I'm going to be returning the Lapdock. I know. What a shame. Instead, I picked up the Samsung Book 4 Pro. It was a bit more expensive, but I think it was still a good price for what it is. Now I know, after all that talk about using my phone as my computer, I still went with a dedicated laptop. I really do think that Dex could be our future, because imagine a world where all of your data and your information will be stored on a single device. Because why have your tablets, your phones, and now a laptop and even desktop compete to hold all your information, like your data, your documents, your passwords, when you can have it all in the same place? Anyway, I'll do a real quick unboxing here of the Samsung. I got the Galaxy Book 4 Pro 360. Heck of a name, but it genuinely is a way better product, I think, than what I got. So as for the big differences, the screen is actually really amazing. It's an AMOLED screen. The keyboard was very nice. And that trackpad is huge in comparison to the Lapdock. I mean, it is just night and day. I mean, that has to be at least twice as much real estate on that touchpad as before. As for the ports, the Samsung does have a lot better ports. It has now a USB-A on the one side, and then it now has two Thunderbolt 4 ports on the other side alongside that full HDMI port. As for the differences between the Lapdock and the Samsung Book 4, I don't even think they need to be compared. I mean, it's gonna be a completely night and day experience between the two. I think the only real difference that needs to be discussed is the price tag. Well, this one was about $200 some, about that much. I managed to get the Samsung for, I think, $800. So yeah, there's about like a $600 price difference. Now, if you're looking at the next dock if you're looking at the next dock Lapdock, that one is $330. If you compare that one to the Samsung, it's about a $500 difference. So is it $500 better? I would say yes, because you're getting desktop experiences, which Dex just cannot do right now. Now, another thing I really wanted to talk about after all that was actually e-waste. I feel like nowadays we don't really talk about this very much, but electronic waste has gotten to be a big issue in the world. If I could use just my phone as my main computer, that would change, I think, a lot. I feel like a lot of times we're wasting a lot of things. Like, think about all the Chromebooks that are being now disregarded and thrown away because they only lasted a couple of years. Think about all the phones that we've thrown away because they don't last very long. So like, I've been trying to do my part a little bit by, first of all, not buying products as much as I used to. Secondly, trying to use things as much as possible. Like, for example, even though, yeah, I do have the brand new Z Fold 7, I'm actually recording this whole video on my old phone. I have the S22 Ultra, and even though it got really sluggish over the years, the cameras still work fine. So why buy like another camera brand new when I can just use my old phone that has great cameras already? Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think in the end, this was a really good learning experience. I think it's a shame that we can't do more with our phones. Hopefully at some point in the future, we'll be able to use them as like a full computer. I know there was even talks about Motorola doing it in the past where you could plug your phone into like a lapdock looking thing. There's even stuff like having modularity. If we can make our phones modular again to where we could replace the batteries, the processors, even the cameras if they break, instead of having to replace your entire phone. But those are all topics that are above my pay grade. I'd like to talk about them more along with people and you. If you're watching, I guess you're interested in this. I guess thanks for watching. I think that's all the points I wanted to make. If you want to see more of something else, just let me know. I don't know if I'll ever make a YouTube video again. It's been a year since my last one was posted, and that has nothing to do with tech at all. I am not a tech YouTuber. I just got bored and I felt like doing this one day. Yeah, I guess thanks for watching. Don't buy ripoffs.